Brilliance Audio presents Lord of Hawkfell Island by Catherine Coulter, performed by Anne Flosnick. Clontarf Island, Danish fortress, 910. He placed his finger to his lips as he turned to his two men. They'd crossed the plank over the deep ravine as quietly as they could, though the need for their absolute silence wasn't necessary now, for lightning streaked through the night sky, and with it came the booming thunder, louder and more powerful than the god's own battles. The utter whiteness in the sky, then the shaking of the earth, was as steady as the torrential rain that blanketed the sky and the earth, coming down so thickly it was difficult to see 2 feet ahead. But he knew exactly what he was doing. Everything was going as planned. He gave a small salute to Hafter and Skula behind him, and he smiled, a fearsome smile. Einar was within the fortress. He had to be. Rorik had been told that he was by his own man inside the fortress. The message Aslak had sent was only a week old. Einar had to be here, even though that witch had yelled to him from the fortress ramparts that he was in Dublin, at the king's compound. That damned witch who was probably his whore, who was lying, trying to protect him. He and his men reached the small rear door, thick and stout, able to withstand a battering ram for a very long time, but it would be open, for Aslak had sworn it would be. It was. He eased open the door, then turned slightly to wave his men to move in closer behind him. They moved silently, pressing close. He hunkered down, his knife drawn, and eased through the opening. Suddenly behind him he heard a man shout, "Take him! He has nowhere to go! Don't kill him!" Rorik lurched back to see 3 men coming across the wide plank, still spread across the ravine, swords drawn. He was seized with madness and bloodlust. In front of him were a dozen men, armed and ready, but it didn't matter. He wouldn't retreat, not now, even though he knew he alone could kill the 3 men who'd crossed the ravine. No, he must go forward. One of the men in front of him was Einar, a man he'd never seen. He yelled his name, calling him a coward, a murderer, taunting him to come and fight him. "Einar! Einar!" The garrison warriors remained together, pressing closely, drawing nearer, their shields and swords raised. He growled his fury. He shrieked his rage to the sky. They were hiding him. They were protecting Einar. Rorik raised his sword over his head and like a berserker lunged into the mass of men. His blood pounded madly through him. His brain saw only the frenzy of killing. He hacked his way wildly through the warriors that surrounded him. Einar must be here. He was hiding, using his men as a shield to protect him. But Rorik would find him. And he'd send his sword to his throat. He heard a scream of pain, then another and another. He paid no heed. "Einar!" Again he heard that same man shout from behind him, "Don't kill him!" Suddenly he was grabbed by a dozen hands and jerked down to his knees on the muddy ground.